All right, so let's take a look and see what's happening in the markets today. And today is September 14th, Tuesday. And we're doing this in 50 minutes or less. As always, with me in the studio is my head coach, Mark Hodge. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Marcus.
All right, well, yesterday, yes, finally, after 5 losing days in a row, the S&P and the Dow snapped this 5-day losing streak. So let's take a look at this. The Dow was actually on fire yesterday.
Yeah, Dow looking pretty good. Up 0.8%, leading the way. So nice day for the Dow, opening a little bit higher and just rallying throughout the day. S&P also higher, but not looking as strong, closing slightly below the open. Kind of a back and forth day for the S&P, but still enough to snap a 5-day losing streak, which was nice. And the Nasdaq not doing a whole lot yesterday.
Yeah. So, I mean, down 6 points, which is nothing. I mean, it moved 6 points within a minute, right? I mean, we're talking
Sure.
about an index that's trading at 15,000. So, I mean, down 6 points, pretty much unchanged. But hey, today, the big day, the CPI data, the consumer price index. I mean, last week we had the producer price index. It came in at the highest level ever since they started measuring it 10, 11 years ago. So, this morning, consumer price index. Want to take a look at it? What happened?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, drum roll. And it came in. Okay, that's actually good. Lower than expected, 0.3%. What did you see here?
Yeah, so the zero point 0.3 increase was just a tick lower than expected. Analysts expected an increase of 0.4%. And then core CPI, which is excluding food and energy, that came in higher by 0.1%, and the expectation was 0.3%. So lower across the board, and CPI is up 5.3% year over year versus the 5.4% expected. So this is good because it doesn't show that, or it shows that inflation isn't just running higher. Now, the largest increase was actually with energy. So energy in August increased by 2%. Most of that was due to gas increasing 2.8%. So energy was the big driver
Yeah.
for the increase. But lower than expected CPI data, even a tick lower, is good for Fed policy because traders were concerned that if the inflation just runs rampant, that they're going to have to raise interest rates quicker.
All right. Let's see how the markets are reacting. So we're switching to a 5-minute chart of the Dow, and on the 5-minute chart of the Dow, you can see, yay! The Dow likes it this morning, this data. The mini S&P, same deal, and the Nasdaq also says, yippee-yay! This is good news. So right now, seems that all three major indices are pointing to a higher opening of 0.4%. So markets, as I said, they are loving it. So far, so good. We shall see what happens for the remainder of the day.
Yeah, futures were actually slightly lower before the report, so nice little reversal, and it looks like we're going to get a strong start.
Yeah, and I mean, you said it. A lot of this inflation was driven by natural gas because we got to take a look at natural gas. I'm switching to a weekly chart here. I mean, that's a weekly chart. So in May we were around $3. What is it? It's not per gallon. Is it per whatever? $3 per whatever unit it is. And right now we are trading at 5.3, $5.30. I mean, not quite doubled yet, but I mean, if you're talking about the last 4 months, I mean, almost doubling. And we talked about it in a previous stock market update. I mean, this will probably, we will feel this come wintertime. Because
Yeah,
what did he say? How many American households are heating with gas?
I think it's almost half.
Almost half, yeah. So it's a lot. It's a lot. So, but anyhow, since we already know that natural gas was kind of running away, I mean, the data here really, really good. So that
Yeah.
works.
And Marcus, I think that the largest increase was gasoline. But energy in general was, a big driver for that increase in August. But with gasoline, we also know that that had to do with the hurricane.
Right. Yeah, Hurricane Ida that has been hitting the Gulf Coast here. All right. Hey, before we look at individual stocks, I want to talk about Litecoin because, oh boy. So Litecoin versus the dollar went crazy yesterday. So Litecoin at some point yesterday was up 30%. So what you're seeing here, this huge massive spike was up 30% before retracing. And here's what happened. I don't know if you followed this. So on the Litecoin Twitter handle, there was a tweet that they have partnered with Walmart, that Walmart will be accepting Litecoin. And everybody said, oh, this huge. I mean, it didn't make sense. So everybody was scratching their heads and saying, kind of doesn't make sense. But hey, I mean, if that's the case, so let's jump in it. And then it turned out it was fake news. So this is where yesterday, I mean, I just want to see if you can quickly switch to a 5-minute or a 15-minute chart that you see that all of this basically happened here in a matter of minutes. So here we have a 5-minute chart of Litecoin yesterday, and we see that first it jumped up from 170 to 230. So this happened here within 15 minutes, and then within 30 minutes, right back where it was trading. But oh boy, I wonder what's happening there, if they will get in trouble, because how did this get on the official Twitter handle of Litecoin? We shall
Yeah,
see.
that's interesting.
And
That's
I mean, we have today SEC Chairman Gensler is testifying ahead of the banking in front of the banking committee, right? And they already say, we don't think that you're regulating cryptos enough. So they put some pressure on him. And I mean, this just gives them ammunition here to call for tighter regulations for cryptocurrencies. Anyhow, I just thought this was interesting to see what happened there yesterday. It's like, holy cannoli.
Yeah, interesting move there. Interesting. It looks like cryptos are slightly higher today.
Yep.
Um, I saw. I mean, I don't know if it would be big news, but I saw that Kathy Wood, she expects Tesla and cryptos to remain hot. She made some comments at an annual SALT conference in New York yesterday, and I want to say that she was really pumping up Ethereum, saying that Ethereum makes up 40% of one of her large crypto funds. So
Well, I guess she has to justify why she's buying cryptocurrencies and Tesla, right? Because I mean, her fund has been doing not too well over the past 3 months. I mean, the markets have been making new all-time highs, and yesterday it was down 1.9%. Yeah, and she's really good in communicating with her investors. So I mean, you got to give her that. She's really, really good. And if you look at this on a weekly chart and we see what happened last year, I mean, super, super impressive run. We talked about that the S&P doubled since we had the pandemic lows until recently, while her fund was trading at around $30, got up to 150. So here we're talking about 5x. So she has been doing something right, although most of these gains seem to come from one company that she's heavily invested in, which is Tesla. And here's where you see, well, what did Tesla do last year? I mean, it went from 100 to 900. So if you see that there's a 9x and now you have a fund that's heavily invested in Tesla, the 5x is almost not that impressive. But hey, after all, it's called a hedge fund, right? So anyhow, let's take a look at a few individual stocks that are moving the market here this morning.
yeah, I mean, we have to take a look at Apple real quick. I
Yeah.
know we talked about it yesterday, but today's the big California streaming event. Seventh online event in a row for Apple. That kind of caught me because I mean, they used to have these huge live in-person events, but because of the pandemic, this will be their seventh online. And investors are always looking for some big news from Apple. Up a little bit pre-market. I don't have the exact data, but I want to say that typically this event is not necessarily a market mover for this stock, but down the road it is, right? So it's kind of a buy the rumor, sell the fact. Or do you have some data to suggest otherwise, Marcus?
No, it's exactly this. It's buy the rumor, sell the facts. Usually, everybody's exciting about the unveil of the new hardware line, iPhone, iWatches today, AirPods. But then usually after this, there's a small dip. However, we'll see because we had the big dip on Friday because of the ruling of a judge where
True.
against Epic Games. So we'll see. We might just hover around there. I mean, I think that Apple here at around 142, it's still a good buy. It's still a good buy. All right,
So
cool. A few other stocks. What moved the markets here this morning?
Herbalife, HLF is the
Yeah,
ticker. So they're down 9% pre-market, and we've seen a lot of companies getting a nice, pandemic bounce and rebound in strength, but they're down after cutting their outlook due to lower than expected levels of activity by its independent distributors. So Herbalife is a company that really relies on, people selling their product, and I guess that's not going too well because of uncertainty over the pandemic.
yeah. Hey, talking about a pandemic winner here, Angie's List seems to do well. So they actually released some numbers, and what was it? A 21% jump in revenue from a year
I think
earlier.
that was it, yeah.
I mean, it's really impressive because yeah, they have been diddling around here. I would have thought that they would have gotten a bigger boost from the pandemic because a lot of people doing home projects, right? And where do you go to find a reliable contractor, electrician, plumber? I mean, I think it's still Angie's List, right? I think it's still a household name, isn't it?
I think so. I
I
think
mean, I haven't
so.
used it in a while because I usually just call my realtor or my property manager and say, hey, send over the plumber or send over the AC guy. But
Yeah.
I think it's where you would go because I would rather trust Angie's List than Yelp. But so it was a little bit surprising to me that they didn't soar more during the pandemic. I mean, they went up from $5. I mean, let's be realistic here, from $5 to $19. So not bad at all. It looks rather small, but these are pretty big swings. And this morning they're up 3.8%.
You want to look at one more?
Okay, one more, and then I gotta go.
Oracle, ORCL.
Who?
Oracle, ORCL.
Okay, ORCL, Oracle. There we go. Whoa, what's happening here?
So they beat earnings by 6 cents a share, but their revenue was worse than expected. So, earnings season over, but we're getting a couple of companies trickling in, and they are down with revenue
All
being
right.
worse than expected.
Well, it will be a fun trading day today. It seems that volatility is back. September is not disappointing. If you would like to know how exactly we trade these crazy markets, we'll link to a few videos here that show you exactly what we do. And hey, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great